I believe that there are two most critical physical evidences of absolute trust in God. And they are number one, fearlessness, and number two, restfulness. Let me take that again. Two most critical physical evidences of absolute trust in God are one, fearlessness, lack of fear, having no fear, and restfulness, demonstrating fearlessness in the face of obvious fear and manifesting restfulness in the face of agitation and panic are critical physical evidences of absolute trust in God. According to Psalm 27, verse 1 to 3, which I read earlier on, it is not possible to claim to be looking up to God and be fearful and restless at the same time. Let me read Psalm 27, verse 1 to 3 again. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? Did you see that statement? If truly the Lord is the light and salvation, then you will lose your fear for anything and anybody. That was the question that David was asking. The Lord, he declared confidently, is a statement of declaration of his absolute trust in God. He knew by revelation what God is to him and who he is in God. He said, the Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? Because who the Lord is to him that is clear to him has actually driven his fear for anything away. He continued, the Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? So you can't have a revelation of who God is, that is, trusting him and believing him and looking up to him and still be exercising fear about anything. In verse 2, he said, when the wicked, even my enemies and my foes, came upon me to eat up my flesh, they stumbled and fell. Did you see that? The enemies are potential dangers. They came upon him to eat up his flesh, not to celebrate with him, but to kill him, to take him out, to snuff life out of him. It was a case of obvious physical danger. The Bible said they stumbled and they fell. And then in verse 3, he declared, though an host should encamp against me, my heart shall not fear. That is a state of restfulness in the face of panic and agitation. My heart shall not fear. Though war should rise against me, in this will I be confident. Brethren, the upward look is a reflection of your absolute surrender and trust in the wisdom and power of God, regardless of the hopelessness of the situation. However, fearfulness and restlessness are physical reflections of your inner struggle, dissatisfaction with the wisdom of God, and your doubt of his power. When you are fearful and you are restless, you are indirectly insinuating that God alone is not sufficient and competent to handle the matter at hand. You and God cannot be on duty at the same time. If God is on duty, then you should be fearless and restful. But you and God cannot be on duty at the same time. If you truly trust God to fight for you, then you must learn to hold your peace. According to Exodus chapter 14, verse 14, the upward look provokes the faith that engages God fully in your matter, while fearfulness and restlessness disengages God and engages you and the devil fully. Therefore, the physical evidences of fearlessness and restfulness are the authentic proofs of your absolute trust and dependence on God as you look up to him for salvation, deliverance, and miraculous intervention. If these physical evidences do not characterize your conduct and comportment in the face of a raging storm or a present trouble, then your claim of looking up to God is not true. God brought the children of Israel out of Egypt by the exercise of his power. the hopelessness of the children of Israel, and the severity of the servitude their taskmasters subjected them to, made it clear to them that their exodus from Egypt to the promised land was absolutely an act of God. Because ordinarily, there was no way they would have been released from Egypt if there was no divine intervention. One would expect that this divine faithfulness is enough to permanently fix their look on God in absolute trust and dependence, regardless of any obvious realities of danger and trouble.